Hi, Ellen Ingalls here at pressure-free.com. Welcome to my show. And for those of you who've known me for a long time, actually, it would be more like family members, maybe my dorm mates in college, people I've lived with over the years. I was probably not known, oh, my staff for sure. I was probably not known as a very patient person. Um, I was really highly impatient. I like to be not just on time, but way ahead of time. I'm not patient with people when they're late. That was the old me. That was the pre-pressure free me. And one of the things that I have noticed over the past almost 16 years now, is just how much more patient I am, in all kinds of circumstances. Patience with process. And so I wanted to share, I created this planner. This is quarter one of my planner. It's available on Amazon, by the way. I give my planner to all of my clients, this, and a couple other books too, and my workbook for my course and all kinds of things. I get all kinds of gifts from me. But this planner here is something I've been using since I created it in 2020. So this will be year 6 that I've been using this planner. It's not just your typical planner. I have a message in here. First of all, I take a quote from someone that I thought was kind of interesting, and then I write about that quote. And then I have some questions in here that I answer them. My clients answer them to just start the day and have you really start in a really pressure-free way. So I thought I would read day 33. Today is day 33 for 2026. And the quote is from Thomas Edison, the scientist. One might think that the money value of an invention constitutes its reward to the or those who love their work. But I continue to find my greatest pleasure, and so my reward, in the work that precedes what the world calls success. So we're talking about process, like he loved the process of creating his inventions. So then this is my muse on that particular quote. So process. We live in an age of quick fix and instant gratification. Some people are impatient with things that take time to process. The root of impatience, I believe, lies in the triggering of the stress response. If we don't have an abundance of adrenaline coursing through our bodies, it is much easier to delve into projects, be more patient with process, be more patient with other people and with ourselves. You'll find yourself having more time in your day due to a natural efficiency, and you'll discover a deeper fulfillment without all the rush and hurry most people are experiencing. So then I have a question. The question is, how do you feel, or when do you feel hurried or impatient, and how can you stay pressure free? So patience, let's talk about it for a moment because I think it's a really interesting thing. When we're impatient with other people, chances are we're causing them to trigger the stress response. And honestly, I was so unaware of it in my past because once I was adrenalized, I really wasn't seeing and hearing other people very well. I thought I was, but when I step back and really look at it, I've triggered the stress response. I'm impatient now. I have a vision of what I want to have happen, and it's going sideways. And that was very, very triggering for me. Um, I remember clearly when I was working this one executive, he said to me, I run my meetings totally different now, thanks to what you've taught me. And it was because he could actually see and hear and affirm his team. So when people had ideas, they felt that he was actually hearing them. Something I had no idea about, but when you trigger the stress response, the fight or flight stress response, our ability to see changes and our ability to hear changes. It's one reason why you might meet someone in at a party or at a networking event, and 5 seconds later you can't remember their name. It's like, why isn't my brain working for me? Right? The biggest reason is the release of these hormones. You actually couldn't hear the person say their name very well, and you can't lodge the information in your hippocampus, so you can't retrieve it later. So basically, our memory is shut down. when we're in fight or flight. So if you're running a team or running a meeting and you have people talking, you can't really focus on what they're saying very well, and you won't retain very much. I love to talk to people when I go to conferences. I love to see just like what they retain, or do you remember anything? We spend a lot of money, corporations today and individuals, we spend a lot of money going to conferences. And you'll hear this expression. I hear this all the time from professional speakers. You know, they won't remember what you told them. They'll remember how you made them feel. The only reason that is true is because pretty much everyone that's come into the room is under the influence of the fight or flight stress response. They can't really hear very well or see very well. So I did a test once. I may have mentioned this on my show before, but it's worth mentioning for this one. I was a breakout speaker at a conference by the state of Michigan, and a friend of mine from Grand Rapids, Michigan, he was the keynote speaker. He's a fantastic speaker. His message is very interesting. He's listed in the program. He had a few slides, not very many, but he had branded his slides with his name on every slide. He was introduced and his name was spoken several times in the introduction. So after his keynote, in my breakout session, I had about 150 people, and I like to connect what someone has just heard. I like to make a connection from what everyone's just heard into what I'm coaching and what my session is about. And so I was about to mention my friend's name, and I thought, hold on a minute, I'm just going to do a little test here. It's 150 people who were just where I was, just heard his speech, and I asked them, all right, let's be honest here for a moment. How many of you remember the keynote speaker's name? And no one did, or at least no one raised their hand and said they did. Like no one remembered his name. How much of what he actually said did they remember? Probably very little. And so I thought about that and I thought, okay, we're spending all this money sending people to conferences or going ourselves. What is it that we're actually retaining? Classrooms. You know, people hear so, you know, you're learning so much in classrooms. How much are we really learning and retaining? So that comes back to Edison's quote about patience and process. Um, and when I think about that, I realize now that if if we're even remotely in a hurry, we're going to trigger the stress response, and now we're not going to retain things. So if efficiency is important to you, if being effective, if having more time in your day to do fun things versus work, if that's important to you, understanding how to mitigate the release of these hormones, getting yourself out of fight or flight is such a game changer. I've had clients tell me that they gain hours of time, productive time in their day. One person gained 3.5, another gained 4 hours. I myself, I noticed about an hour and a half to 2 hours in the very first year that I was doing this method on myself. But after a while, I would say it's probably a good 2.5 hours of productive time where everything else is getting done and I still have just like energy to do whatever I want. Maybe it's fun. It's interesting. There's so much about self-care today. I think that self-care, if you really, really want to get to being healthy, healthy mentally, healthy physically, it's not taking time to do things separate from how you're living moment to moment to moment. It's the moment to moment to moment. And then you can do something like take a yoga class or go on a retreat or whatever you want to do, but you're doing it because you want to enjoy it rather than needing to de-stress. That became clear when I was working with a client who was coming to my retreat, and they're like, yeah, I don't have to come to this to de-stress. I'm already there. I'm coming here to learn even more so that I can really up my game and really up my performance. When I first started to create this method, I had no idea that it would help so many people with health, with sleep, with all of those things. I thought I was simply helping people perform better in the moment, whether that's taking a stage, um, uh, taking a court, being on the ice as an athlete, running a meeting, running an organization, like this moment to moment thing, the big moments basically. And then very clearly, this was much, much bigger than it was. But it does take patience and it is a process. So people will ask me, how fast will this work for me? It's not like instant like our phone is today, but I'm not going to limit it either because I had um one client have a breakthrough in just 4 days and then another up leveling at 10 days, right? For some people, it takes longer. So we can't be in a rush. That's one of the key tenets of pressure free. So when I'm helping somebody understand like what's going on with their body, why are they having migraines? Why is their stomach upset so much? Like, why do they feel so nervous in situations that everybody's like, why are you so nervous? Like, why do they feel nervous? So we have to untangle all that first. And as we begin untangling that, that's when little breakthroughs start to happen. I was just talking to a colleague of mine and I was saying how we were both saying how as coaches, as people who teach something, any teacher, any professional who's teaching or leading, we can't make promises. If someone promises you something, how do you know that's actually going to happen? Because it's really up to the individual to do the work, right? So I will typically say, I can't promise what will happen for you, but here's what I can tell you. This method is based on neuroscience, and the more you incorporate it into your life and stop releasing stress hormones, the more every cell of your body can be in homeostasis and be healthy. And when that starts to happen, your cognitive functioning improves, your memory improves, so many little things improve. And you can become much more patient with the people that you love, patient with the people you work with. If you're a coach or teacher, you'll have so much more patience to help those that you're leading actually learn skills. And it's such a game changer. Um, I wish I'd learned it years before. I think about my parents. I'm out on in New England. I think about my parents a lot when I'm out here, and so wish I could have taught this to them because I think they might still be living, or at least make it to like their 80s. They died, my mom at 68, my dad at 72. Not making it to the average age of an American today. So, and truly the stress hormone release that they were experiencing every single day was a part of that. So patience with the process, patient with yourself. I was highly impatient with myself. I still kind of am. Like I constantly want to learn more. There's it's like not enough hours in the day for me to study and learn and to coach and do everything that I want to do sometimes. So when I get to like this time of night, well, sometimes I coach late into the night because I have clients on the West Coast. Have a possible new client coming in from Sweden. So I might be up early to coach him. Uh, so so I will be kind of impatient that I don't get as much done as I would like to get done in a day. And if that's you, it's really common with my clients who are entrepreneurs who are those like ultra people that have a wide bandwidth. So they're the ones that get asked to volunteer for everything and lead things and they'll sometimes say, I get to the end of the day and there's so much more I could have done. So I have a little slogan for that. I will just relax my belly, relax my abs, my front of my body, and I'll say, well, tomorrow is a new day. I think my husband probably hears me say that way too much, but it is like tomorrow is a new day. And it's okay to develop patience with ourselves and not be in such a rush. Um, not expect everything to happen instantly for us. Um, Especially if you really want to perfect something. I did a post the other day on it's actually in my newsletter. And if you haven't seen my newsletter, I call it a little easy. It's right on my website, lingalls.com or pressure-free.com will get you there too. And you can click on the tab that says books, blog, vlog. So I have my videos up on there. Some of them. I have my monthly newsletter up on there and then access to my books too. You won't see this one there though. So this, if you go to Amazon, you'll find it there. It's only in print version because it's actually a workbook, right? Um, I'm also redoing my whole course workbook. I think I might put that up on Amazon too when it's actually done, as well as the other 3 quarters here. So obviously I have a lot of work to do, but I'm going to be patient with myself as I put it all together. I'm hoping for a nice long life so I can get pressure free out to as many people as I can and get all these books written and all this stuff coming out of my head. So I wish you a great pressure free night, and it would be fun tomorrow if you just kind of noticed when you start to rush and just relax your belly, just relax your shoulders, smile a little bit and be like, you have plenty of time. You have all the time in the world in any given second. And we don't need to tick those seconds by so much. And you can really just settle and enjoy the process of things. As Edison said, he enjoyed the process more than the success. I need to riff on that for just a moment, especially if you are an athletic coach, a performer on stage. Something that I have noticed, and I've talked to people about this too, and clients about it. If you have a big event, like a big tournament or a big race, big game, a huge production, theater, opera, um, symphonic performances, chamber concerts, whatever it is, there can be such a build up to the event. You've practiced and worked so hard for this one event. And then when it's over, sometimes I've noticed for myself, for clients, for colleagues of mine, there's this huge letdown. Sometimes people get sick. It's almost like we've been staving off the cold to get through the production. I see this with opera and theater a lot. And then suddenly everybody is sick who is in the production. Some people get very depressed. I think this is what Edison was really getting at here, is that you can have this great success, you can produce this great thing, but what's next? And what happens in the few days afterwards? Um, it's really fun to change up that thinking in our heads and be more in love with the process, really. So I wish you again a great pressure-free day tomorrow. Whenever you're watching this, if you're watching it live, thank you so much. If you're commenting, liking it, thank you so much. If you know someone who could benefit from this, I'm pretty sure you can grab the link to this and send it to someone in a text. I know that the subjects I talk about can be really private for people. So a lot of times people won't like heart it. And that's fine for me. I just know because people reach out to me and say, thank you so much for what you do here because it's making a difference. So I hope that this makes a difference for you or for someone that you care about. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.